Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Reverse Flash. This is Eobard Thawne. I pre-ordered my figure from Amazon.com. It was delayed. Luckily I did get my order canceled. I'd read a lot of people had their orders canceled. It was simply rescheduled, and here it is today. He appears to be the same sculpt as DC's Rebirth Flash, just repainted in yellow and red colors. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Reverse Flash. Here he is in the package. He has a bunch of red Speed Force effects, a collector's card, and a display stand. One side of the package, Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth. Other side simply says Reverse Flash. At the bottom, a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Reverse Flash running. And here are a bunch of other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a bunch of Speed Force effects, a display stand, and a collector's card. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth comics. His real name is Eobard Thawne. He's pretty much the opposite of Flash, an evil version of Flash. Yellow outfit, red trim. His lightning bolt is going to be reversed from the regular Flash. I've seen a lot of people make cousins of this guy already. I know my boy Jason, he repainted the Flash with a 2-pack that came with Red Death, the one with the angry face, and made a really nice looking reverse Flash. That's pretty much what McFarlane did, but they slightly altered the symbol on his chest. That being said, I think it's a really cool figure, and it's a long time coming. This is the kind of reuse that is very clever and makes perfect sense. So let's take a look at him. Starting off with his head, and my god, look at those lightning bolts. Boy, did they mess that up with the packaging. We'll see if hot water will correct that. He has an angry face, eyes kind of white with a red around them. He looks like an evil Flash. Lightning bolt looks good. This one, not so much. Lightning bolt on his chest, got a black circle, red lightning through it. Yellow suit, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. The colors really pop on this guy. I like the way he looks. And you can see sort of different texturing on the different parts of his suit here. Overall, it's a nice figure. It's a clever repaint. And it's about time we add to the Flash Rogues Gallery. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think it's very well done. Of course, right now, the lightning bolts really kind of make him look bad. Hopefully that'll get corrected easily. And now, I appreciate the fact that he was in a running pose in the package. It looked really cool. But it always seems to warp and distort the figures. So first of all, the lightning bolts on the top of his head. And then his sort of diaper part, it's a little bit risen on the right hand side. Now my experience in the past, you simply have to put these guys into boiling water and they'll revert to their natural state. Let's see if this is true with him. So I dipped his lower half into some boiling water, and you can see the diaper area has completely corrected itself. Now I want to do the same with his head. Fingers crossed, this one is a lot more noticeable than his diaper area. After dipping his head into some boiling water, the lightning bolts didn't simply correct themselves. This is a rare example of where I had to actually intervene myself. I had to take his lightning bolt that was kind of facing downward on the left, hold it upward, and then pour some cold water on this guy, so as it cooled down, it would stay to the place I wanted it to. Looks a lot better now, and I could even adjust it further as needed. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black brick circle, says a DC at the bottom, has one peg for the peg holes in his feet, very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Reverse Flash running. Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth. On the back side, there is a description if you want to read that. Go ahead and pause now. And here's his collector's card, next to the original DC Rebirth Flash's collector's card. Now let's look at his Speed Force effects. There's one large one that'll go on his back. kind of medium-sized one that'll go on one of his feet. Then you got 2 small ones for his arms and 2 larger ones for his side of his legs. These are made with a sort of semi-transparent red plastic. Very nice effect. Gets the job done. The regular Flash came with some yellow versions like this. Exact opposites. The Reverse Flash. Here are the Speed Force effects that came with the standard version of Flash. These are made of a clear yellow. They're both excellent jobs at Speed Force effects and very appropriate for each character. Here's Reverse Flash without the Speed Force effects. And here he is with all the Speed Force effects attached. Really makes a difference. And here's the Barry Allen version of Flash, running the opposite direction with the Speed Force effects. Running the opposite direction, being the reverse of each other. Here's the Flash and the Reverse Flash running towards each other. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. It can look up about that far, down about that far. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist here has a ball in it. Can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint in his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another ball joint in his waist, rotate around, forward and back, giving him a very wide range of motion in his torso. Legs, completely does the splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. Legs completely go forward, back just a little bit. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle here has a ball in it similar to the wrist. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. I wanted to look at the differences between Flash and Reverse Flash to see if it was just paint differences or if there are any sculpting differences. Now their heads are different. They have a different expression on their face. Then, of course, the Flash symbol on the chest is different. Reverse Flash's is completely the opposite. And the only other difference I see, the left hand. Flash is a pretty open running hand, and Reverse Flash here has kind of a gripping hand. Now that was the single release of Flash. Here's the Flash from the 2-pack. This one had some different hands and a different facial expression. Neither one of these hands are shared with Reverse Flash. And looking at their facial expressions, as much as it surprises me, they are not the same. Reverse Flash has sort of a complete frown, whereas this angry Flash, kind of curved, a little bit bigger on one side than the other. I'm very surprised they didn't just simply reuse this guy's face, and I'm proud of McFarlane for that. For the next part of this video, I had to switch to a city street setup. Here's Reverse Flash running through the streets of Central City. Here's a frontal view of Reverse Flash running straight toward you. And finally, a side view of the Reverse Flash. And of course, here's the Flash chasing after the Reverse Flash. Just gonna prove which one has greater Speed Force powers. Here's the Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman stabbing and killing the Reverse Flash, just like it did during Flashpoint. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the standard version of Flash. These guys are both from DC's Rebirth comics, while the Reverse Flash pretty much looked the same way back since before Flashpoint. Then, next to the Injustice 2 Flash, and here he is, next to Zack Snyder's Justice League's live-action Flash, and now, next to the animated Justice League Unlimited Flash. Here's the Reverse Flash, next to Red Death. Although Red Death is actually Barry Allen's body, it's another Speed Force villain. Here's the Reverse Flash, next to all the different Flash figures McFarlane has made in their DC Multiverse line. I believe the next one they're going to make is going to be the live-action Flash from CW's Arrowverse. Add in both versions of Red Death, and hear all the different Speed Force characters McFarlane has made. I believe there is a rumor that we're going to get a Reverse Flash from Injustice 2 in the future. Here's Reverse Flash next to a couple of Gorilla Grodd figures. Gorilla Grodd and Reverse Flash are pretty much the only Flash rogues they've made so far. One could argue that Red Death is sort of a Flash rogue, but I'd say he's more of a Batman rogue. And you know what? Bring on Captain Cold and the Trickster. Those are the Flash rogues that I want the most. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to Superboy Prime and the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman Blue Edition. And here he is, next to a couple of Lobo figures. Then, next to the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn and the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. And here he is, next to the Year 2 Batman. And now, next to the recent released Batman 3 Joker's Wave. And here he is, next to a few different McFarlane Swamp Thing Mega figures. And then, next to Nightwing and Red Hood from Gotham Knights. And here's the Reverse Flash, next to the Batman Who Laughs and Robin Crow's 4-pack. And finally, next to the first two waves of the Batman figures, here's his McFarlane Reverse Flash, next to the Mattel DC Multiverse CW's Arrowverse Reverse Flash. Now there are a bunch of other Reverse Flash figures that I would like to have, most notably the DC Direct DC Essentials Reverse Flash, and the DC Direct CW Arrowverse Reverse Flash. Then, next to both the DC Direct and Mattel Professor Zoom, another Speed Force villain. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect. I work way smaller. Here he is, with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jakks-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, this is a pretty nice figure. It's nice to finally get another Flash rogue to the mix. While this guy is a lot of reuse, it's very clever reuse and comic accurate. It's not just some crazy unpainted or gold or bronze figure. This reuse completely works in my opinion. I love the fact that his face sculpt's a little bit different. They could have easily used the 2-pack Flash's angry head. This guy's articulation is everything you'd expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. His accessories are pretty cool. The Speed Force effects are different from the original Flash and are very appropriate for him. The sculpt and paint job are excellent. No real issues there. If I were to rate this figure, I'm probably going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a nice figure, but we all knew what we were going to get when we got this guy. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.